Hi Heritage Village, I'm Marcia Brooker. It's nice to be with you again. I'm sitting here in the beautiful home of Claudia Fox, the lady sitting to my left. We're going to talk a little bit about some experiences that Claudia has had, and I'm not going to take her thunder, I'm going to let her say that. But ideas about just kind of spiffing up. As spring is coming, people are going to be wanting to spring clean, and they might want to spiff up their house a little bit. So hi Claudia and welcome.
Hi Marcia, and hi everyone.
I know that you have been a realtor for a very long time.
Yes.
And I'm sure in that time you have seen many house transformations. Can you speak a little bit about how that might have piqued your idea here to do what you want to do that we're going to talk about in just a minute?
Sure. I have visited so many different apartments, homes, and I never got tired of doing that. It always piqued my interest to see all the different decorations or lack
of
thereof. And as I would go through, I would either admire the decorations or I would think, I would do this, I would do that. If only they did this, it would look so much better.
Okay.
And so
All right.
that's kind of...
All right, so what are we going to talk about in today and in successive shows that you want to share with the village?
Well, first I'd like to share the things I've done here in this condo. This is my second renovation.
Okay.
I did not know I was going to do this. In fact, I did not know I knew how to do this.
Aha. Okay, so knowing is one thing, wanting is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the biggest thing you learned?
First of all, I could be the contractor.
Okay.
And save quite a bit of money.
Okay.
So I would say that's the first thing. And the second most important thing was you just have to take action. So you see you'd like to do something, you can look on the internet, you can ask people, and you figure out step by step what you need to do. And then find the right person to do it. And it's contacts, it's asking, it's talking about it. And then people just kind of help you get there.
Wow. Now, you renovated everything in this condo.
This condo was the worst.
Okay.
I had sleepless nights about even purchasing it. In fact, first I said, no.
Okay.
I can't do it. There was a cat smell in every single nook and cranny of this.
And that is really terrible.
It was horrible.
Right.
And it didn't actually come out until the very end when we moved the vanities from the bathroom into the bedroom so they could work. And I said, wow, that smell followed, it went right into the bedroom. So that must be the last piece.
Okay.
Immediately we threw them out and the place cleared.
Okay. So basically you're going to talk talk about your experience doing like a total renovation.
Right.
All of this would also apply to just somebody who might want to do a room or two rooms to just kind of, change the atmosphere a little bit. Is that correct?
Yes. Or just one thing. For
What?
example, a cluster of pictures.
Okay.
As opposed to one picture here, one picture there.
Okay.
Creates warmth. So there'll be some decorating tips too.
Oh, okay. Because I know I've been looking around, and since we've been talking about doing this, I realized that it's been a long time since, I have painted, and you have actually gotten me a little bit excited about, doing that. And because I think even a fresh coat of paint in a room changes, I mean, that's just my opinion, but changes everything, and then it makes other things look like, well, maybe I better do this and maybe I better do that sometimes. So I think that's what's kind of happening to me a little bit. So I'm going to blame it all on you. Okay. When you've done this, or when you've spoken to people who've done renovations, have they, aside from maybe painting and hiring people, have they done very much of the other physical work? Like, you didn't really change any walls or anything in here, did you?
No, no, but I have been, just yesterday, I went to a neighbor's house and took some photos for a further show, and they took a wall down and made a counter with 2 stools.
Okay.
So it won't just be my...
No,
I'm going to...
Claudia has gone around to a lot of different units that have been done. Some of them have been done as a flip. Some of them have been done just by people who wanted to change something, like she did. I'm correct in that.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. And I know you mentioned saving money, and between inflation, the cost of, pharmacy and all kinds of things, everybody wants to save money. How much money do you guesstimate you saved by contracting yourself and designing and choosing the things that you wanted?
Well, let me put it to you this way. I can't tell you exactly how much I saved, but, for example, I had someone come and give me an estimate to redo the kitchen.
Okay.
And that was $12,000. Then I had someone give me an estimate for the bathroom. That was $12,000. I was like, okay, $24,000. We're not doing this. So I just kept asking and asking. I finally got someone through my church who would come and do these things for much less.
Okay. Did you have a hard time getting people to actually come here and talk to you when you called them on the phone and said, I want to put in new bathrooms, and someone said that this is something that you do, would you come over and give me an estimate?
I would say it was a couple weeks out. Like, nobody said, I'll be right there.
Okay.
And this is one thing, maybe you've had this experience if you've done some work, but when they work on your place, they work on other places. So if you're contracting to do, say, the floors, you might get half the floors done and a phone call, or maybe not a phone call. I'm sorry, I have to go do work someplace else. So
Okay.
The first year when I lived in the other condo, I was ballistic. I was like, what?
Okay.
I was living in that one
Right.
while they were doing it.
Okay.
This one, I had more of a lead time and the luxury of having it done
Without you living here.
without me living here. But even then, I am a let's do it yesterday type A person. So just to hang in there, sometimes I had to do a Buddha position.
Yeah. Take a deep breath 6 times a day, right?
My
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
Okay, I think that's a really interesting point, because I think my expectation would be, if somebody came in to do my floor, that if it took them 3 days to do it, they would come on 3 successive days.
Yes.
And that would be whether I'm paying them by the job or by the hour, which I think is something it would be worthwhile to talk about, because there seems to me that there would be advantages to paying somebody by the job as opposed to by the hour. I don't know if you ran into that at all.
I don't know really, Marcia, if that factors in to their schedule.
Okay.
Their schedule is okay, I've got this job. Somebody just called. Now I've got 2 jobs. I know I'm not going to lose the first job because I started and everything's all apart. So now I'm going to run over and start that job and then come back. I will tell you, honestly, I am not a fighter.
Okay.
I don't yell at people. I'm calm, even though I could be screaming. Inside, I don't act that way.
Okay.
But there was a plumber who, honestly, I didn't yell at him, but I did say to him, I'm getting someone else. I just can't do this. He would say each day, and this was toward the end of the bathroom, because when you do the bathroom, the plumber comes in, he does his part, then the contractor puts the rest of it together.
The tile or
the shower.
Okay.
The shower. Yes, the tile. Laying the floor. Okay. So now we get the last part for the plumber. So he calls. Sorry, I can't come today, but I will be there tomorrow. Okay. I hang my hat on. He's showing up tomorrow. Next day, calls. Can't make it today. This went on for 3 days, and the 4th day he didn't call. I just called him. I said, don't come back.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot handle that kind of thing. Other people might be able to do it.
Was his expectation to be paid for the work that he did, even though he didn't complete the job?
Yes, and I did pay him that portion of it. And but I made him wait. Because I said, you know what, you made me wait. I just want to let you know how that feels. I'll pay you when I'm ready to pay you.
Okay.
And then 2 weeks later, I sent him a check.
Okay.
I mean, that's just me. I wouldn't not pay him for his part.
Right.
Because the second person who came in, he just picked up and finished it.
Okay. I think one of the things too, living in the village, especially if we've taken advantage of the plumbers and the work people that work here, even though we may have to wait for certain things, and now, of course, we have to pay for certain things that, that are done, we're really out of the flow of what's available to us in town or in surrounding areas. And I know that the fellow that was my plumber used to be my paper boy when I lived in Newtown. And he's a very good friend of my son. So when I found out that he had a plumbing business and I needed anything to do, I called Mike. And then he inherited some property in Florida and they moved to Florida. So it was kind of like, okay, I had to start all over again. And he recommended someone that I personally did not identify with this person at all. And then I just talked to a neighbor and got the great plumber that I have now, who did my water heater and, all of the things that need to be done. You were lucky that you had someone at your church that could help you out. Sometimes we know people who know contractors and they might know moonlighters or they might know people who are just starting out in business, and that kind of thing. So it's kind of hard, I would think, sometimes to just kind of go into this kind of blind with not having a name or two at least. Is that correct?
Yeah. But honestly, people here at Heritage Village, they are so resourceful and so connected, and somebody has done something that you want to do. That's what I found.
Okay.
Very helpful.
Okay. So, without us going around and looking right now,
yes,
you basically took up your floors, you took out your bathrooms, you took out your kitchen, and that was what your reno was. Is that true? Okay. So what made you decide to have the kind of floors that you have? They look like they might be a pergo floor, but I mean they could be wood or they could be tile, because I know they make tile now that looks very much like floors. Would you?
Yes, of course. These are a wood plank floor.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and they just come from our local people. Not in Southbury.
Right.
But places we go common. You know,
Okay, all right,
always-
places where you could get a lot of quantity at one
Correct.
time without
That's
mentioning a
correct. Any
name.
names.
Right.
Okay, so I chose this in the first condo because I wanted everything. I had come from a big house and it was traditional.
Okay,
And I was married, and I left that whole thing behind. So I wanted something fresh, modern, different,
okay,
no reminders of the past.
okay,
So I chose gray. Now, I had the floors put in, and then one night, sometimes I just forget what I'm doing. Just the other day, I put on eggs and went to make a phone call. Thank God for the smoke alarm. Anyway, seriously.
I know, we've all been there.
Okay, so I'm watching a television program. I go into the kitchen, and there were dishes in the sink. And there was a plate. And somehow that plate was over the plug, the hole.
Okay,
I turned on the water. I heard something on the television. I went in, and I watched the whole program.
with the water, I love it.
When I came out, there was like a half an inch to an inch of water in the kitchen. I don't know how it didn't move to the other rooms because there's a door leading to the hall and a door leading to the dining room. It was just flooded. And I freaked out. I turned off the water. I got every towel, bathrobes, anything.
Anything that would pick up the water, right.
I got it cleaned up. I was like pretty anxious to think of what could have happened.
Did anything leak downstairs?
No, nothing leaked. It's waterproof.
There was a guardian angel sitting in the kitchen somehow.
And I debated, who needs waterproof? Like, who needs waterproof? I needed waterproof.
Okay.
So I got it, but just by chance. So I highly recommend waterproof. I've never done anything like that before.
Now, when you say waterproof, does it mean that the boards were waterproofed? So
Yeah.
that so if you spill water on them, they don't absorb water,
Right.
number one, so that they can't swell and then warp and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay, but they also don't let the water through.
No,
Aha.
they were fine.
Okay.
Nothing.
You must have been doing laundry for a while.
I was.
Okay, so I noticed that, and we'll look at this in a minute, that your fireplace, I'm just going to turn the camera so that
Sure.
we can take a look at the fireplace. I'm going to go slowly so people don't get dizzy.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, now was this what the fireplace looked like when you first were here?
No. So this was green.
Okay.
We'll have a picture. This was brick, red brick. This had little birds all through the tile.
So it was tile? Okay.
And this was gold. So we started with paint. I painted this, and that. Then I had the contractor, I went to our store, I had the contractor put these tiles in over. He put them over the other tile.
Okay. Okay, this is your dining room, which is adjacent to your living room. Tell us what color this was before.
This was a pukey or putrid green.
Okay.
It was just awful. So I used the same color throughout the whole condo. That way I saved on paint. So I actually went to a store that duplicated a paint brand that was more expensive.
Okay.
And I figured, who's going to know if it's just a little bit different than the other condo? And of course, no, it's what it is. That's what you see. So I saved money on paint by doing it all this gray.
Okay. Now,
And, yes.
you talked about putting a cluster of paintings
Correct.
a little while ago,
Yes.
and
So instead of just one, in my other condo, it was very modern. But I thought, I'm going to be here much longer. I'm going to do a combo of modern and sort of traditional. And I always liked a lot of pictures. So instead of putting the one picture I had the last time, I started just, putting several pictures. I started with these 4, which actually I got in France and I love them. And then I went to, this was a local store that I frequent all the time, and got lookalikes. Mm-hmm. So that's it. Then I took this from my home. This was an older one, and it had the French theme. So I stuck with the French theme. And then I had this old that I got at a thrift store, mirror. Found this years ago, and I painted it white. And I thought that would kind of just continue to have the mirror, then the window, and then a modern picture. So it just warms up this space. It makes it cozier. So it's just an idea. Everyone might not like it, but you can go again on the internet, which is a great resource, and look up cluster. I've gotten used to doing it over the years, so it's easy for me. But I started in the beginning, and I just started with one picture. And I remember I just grew it, and I was like, I really like this. So.
Okay, did you have all of this furniture when you came here, or was a lot of this furniture a new present for yourself? Because this is a really, really beautiful dining set.
I got this, I ordered it online for the other condo.
Okay.
These spaces are pretty much the same, the dining spaces in most of the condos, so it fit perfectly. I'll tell you, it's a great dining room table because you pull it apart and up come the leaves, and you can sit, let's see, I guess
8 or 10?
8 or 10 people.
That's terrific. That's great.
And it's easy to do. You can actually do it yourself.
Okay, I'm really curious. A lot of your stuff is white. How do you keep it so clean?
I don't know. It just stays clean. I mean, I do clean.
I know that.
Dust and clean, but I don't know. There's not a lot of dust or dirt that seems to come in here, except the floors.
Okay.
Especially in the winter, bringing in that sand.
Okay.
But I think it stays clean.
Okay, with the white, is there a water-resistant finish on it? Because I think I've had somebody dripping red wine on that, and
Yes. Well, I've been lucky so far. I would say Scotch guarding would probably be a good idea. Honestly, it's been the pandemic, so not many people have really sat here.
okay,
And that's probably why they're so clean.
okay,
Yes. Now, the other thing I think is really important, there are 2 things that finish a place. The lighting So I got all new light fixtures. And be sure you know what it's supposed to look like when you get it here, because actually the contractor put it together backwards, and I said, that looks so strange. But he came back and fixed it. So I got new lighting in each room and handles. I got matching door handles on all of the doors, and it just gives it a finished look.
Okay.
We'll see those as we can.
And also the window coverings are interesting because in the living room you have blinds, and in the dining room we're looking at like a shade that comes up from the bottom.
Right. And they also have a shade for the bedroom that has a dark side. So, you can make it very dark in the bedroom. But I got these because you can go down, you can go up.
Oh, wow.
You can see the view or not. You can just let the light in. And I will tell you, I think it makes a huge difference in the winter on your heating bill, because I can feel the cold coming in, and this blocks it. I didn't do them in the kitchen because I just like looking out at the trees, which I'm lucky to have. But now, because of the cold, I kind of wished I had. But it's done.
Okay. We've probably done like the end of the first installment of your series here. So we are going to stop now, and then we will pick up the tour of your condo, and that will start the second part of the series. Okay, so again, this is Claudia Fox. Claudia lives in the Village, and she is going to talk to us about decorating ideas and all kinds of things, and she's going to show off her beautiful condo. So thank you for being with us today, and please join us for the next edition of Decorating with Claudia.
Thank you.
Hi, Marcia Brooker here again with Claudia Fox. We started and did a program last week that talked a little bit about Claudia's adventure into kind of renovating and being her own contractor to renovate her condo. Welcome back. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's great to be here. Just kind of recap just a little bit for someone who might not have seen. We talked a little bit about not only the satisfaction that you got of doing this, and I'm asking you to do it, and now I'm answering the question, so you could talk a little bit.
Well, the biggest thing is it was a surprise to me that I could do it.
Okay.
I just had no idea. And it just showed me so many times in so many things that I've done in my life, and I've done a lot of stuff, that it was bit by bit. Like, what's that thing they say? How do you eat an elephant? Bite by bite.
Okay.
And it's truly just doing something you see, oh, wow, I like that. That came out really well. Let me try something else. Now, sometimes it's necessity. Like in my first condo, and here definitely it was necessity. That one I could have gotten away with things. But just how it refreshed the room to paint the fireplace. And in a future show, I have my neighbor who painted her fireplace, but she did like a wash.
Mm-hmm.
And so the pink showed through. I love it. I
Okay.
just love it. So it's just, you just try things they look great, you can always redo it. That was the other thing. It put it into perspective for me that it's just stuff. It's just paint. You can paint and repaint. You're not stuck.
If you don't like the color the first time, you can always...
Yeah.
I actually painted a room one time with this. I bought this paint that was almost like a fuchsia. And I don't know what possessed me to buy it, but I just fell in love with the color. And I started putting it on the wall, and I just stood there and I thought, my God, what did I do? Well, when it got finished and I got used to it, and then I painted the other walls a really contrasting color, I fell in love with it. And I have never put a nail in it. My sister will say to me, why don't you hang something on this wall? Well, I don't want to because it's just so beautiful, and so you can change things. I chose not to, but anyway, this is not my story. This is your story.
No. It's
okay.
great input. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
like anything, stuff happens, or you're in a particular mood one time, and then in a couple of weeks when you get to it, it's like, what was I thinking? That type of thing. You have accessorized your house really very well too, and I think that when when we're going around looking, it might be something that you would also like to look at, because there are some beautiful combinations of pictures and uses of walls and that kind of thing. So you have a talent for decoration also, for things that you like. Tell me about this horse.
I was just thinking of this horse. This horse was $149. That's all. I got it again at one of my local hangouts.
Okay.
But I have gotten a lot of my mirrors and things over time. Like if a frame place was going out of business and they'd have things for $3, $5, I would just pick them, get them all up, and then if I couldn't use them, I would just store them. So I always had things, and I honestly do things in the least expensive way possible. I am a frugal person, so I'm always watching. I have a budget. I set the budget for what I can spend, and then I get it in. Somehow I cram it all in and get it done for that amount.
Budgeting for what you're doing is that's a really good point. I am kind of more like, well, I'm just going to do it, and then all of a sudden I go, holy cow, look at how much money this is costing. I'm not really good with that, and I should be really good with that, but I'm not. So would you like us to go on a little tour to see what we looked at the living room last time. We looked at the dining room, and we'll just give you a quick shot of those. And then we'll put some wheels on the camera, and we will go around and we will show you the rest of what Claudia has done with her condo. Why don't you tell us what model this is?
This is a Mark Twain. So I'm above someone. I hope they still like me. It's tough. I try to be a good neighbor. And I have someone on each side. I will say that helps with the heat bill too.
Right.
I can feel that it's never cold in here because I'm surrounded.
Yeah.
I also feel safe. But can I go back for 1 second?
Whatever you want.
Okay, so I'm good with finances, so I have envelopes. Actually, I can show you. White envelopes stuffed with money. So, don't rob me.
We're not telling them where you'll live.
Right? But if I have a goal, say a new couch, then I think, okay, I can get that new couch in 1 year. How much is that new couch? And then I divide it up between 12 months, and each month I put that money in. I cannot tell you the satisfaction. And you get this envelope, it's filled with money. It's just so rewarding. I mean, I have that for vacation, I have it for clothes, so I'm pretty detailed, but that's a lot of what I did here. I had the budget, I sorted it out, what could go to each thing, and that's where I stayed.
Have you always been that way?
For probably a good 30 years.
Okay.
I wasn't before that. I was bad with money. I took a course
Okay.
and I got on track.
Okay, so now you just have size 10 envelopes, and
Yes.
I think that's wonderful. Let's get the camera on the dolly and we will go for a little tour.
Also, Marcia, this furniture is on an angle.
Yes.
I had it square.
Okay.
And from the beginning, it was an issue for me. I was like, how is the furniture I had going to fit into this living room and look a little arty?
Well, it looks like a doctor's office because everything is always next to the walls.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
yeah.
And every day I would come in here and say, there's something missing. And then for Christmas, I put a tree in that corner and put the couch on an angle. And I said, I like it. So when I took the tree, I just reversed it. And it just opened this room up. Suddenly, it felt spacious, whereas before it felt boxy.
Well, you're cutting the energy off too if you have anything, like that's an old feng shui thing, you know, that you don't want to cut the energy off that you have. And a lot of people, you know, have concerns about that because they want to put their couch this way in front of a fireplace, for example, you know, and it seems to cut everything off. But there are ways to get around it. Sometimes it's done totally by mistake, which is what happened with you.
Yeah.
You know, you wanted to put up a Christmas tree, so you move the couch, and it's like, oh, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So it was a good surprise for you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
My kitchen. The first thing to note, I did buy the appliances by myself because I wanted to save the money. So I had to learn how to measure the space for the different appliances. That was a huge project because you have to get appliances that measure properly and fit in. So that was a tough one. That was the worst project for me, is measuring, getting the right space. I stuck with all the same finish, except it was a little cheaper to get a microwave, a little different surface, but it doesn't seem to show because we can see that on the way out. So what I did in here, no, all new handles. These cabinets were just some awful color. I don't even remember, it was just horrible. But what I did was I had them all painted white. There was a big gap, I don't know if you can get that, but there was a big gap in the top. So I had molding put on to fill in that space. So the other thing I did was I got these little tiles to finish it off on the top. They come in strips. You can use one row. I used 4. I also had subway tiles put on the back. Now, I've seen in one of my neighbor's homes, who I'm sure she'll let me photograph it, she did this gray tile here, and it just looks different, but it's quite nice. So there's all different kinds of things you can do. This, then I also got the there was one that I liked that had a twisty thing around it. It looked so cool. But then I said, how do you keep that clean? You know, so I just went with simple, but a little high. That's the style now. may not be in a couple years. Even all the gray and white is like, it's like a with it kind of decorating right now. Let's see, granite. Okay, I went to 4 different granite places, and I took the one that was the least expensive. I could see the slabs of granite. So I got something simple, so that because the floors are gray, picked out some gray that I could put in there. This is a little tip. Sometimes the space between your tile and the top of the cupboard is not the same. So this is 1.5 inches. If it's not, say this is 1 inch, they have these little wood things. You can lay them on the top, or you can have a frame built and still get the granite that you want. Can you swing over here? Marcia, is that possible? This is, of course, a closet, so forgive me if it's kind of messy. But I just want to show you this. I got this at one of the stores. It was about $40. It is fantastic. I just love it. Everything I use frequently is on here. I have my wastebasket in there and all those other things, but it was well worth it. Now, over here, I added a little different handle to create some interest, and also once the granite was on these drawers, these are drawers, this had the opportunity to sink. So the contractor cut some metal and put that in there to hold it up. These I ordered online and put together. Not another easy project. Some people helped me, but I love this little space. And then these little things I got in that thrift store. There was a huge thing of them. They were $8, and I just thought they would look nice there. And I love walking down the hall in the morning and just seeing the way the light comes through. So just a little decorating thing. I think that's it for this. This is a bookcase desk, as you can see. I had it made to, I specifically have, like, let me just bring these out, one of them out. Like, I purchased these little containers. I have 10. So I had the bookcase built to 2. I could put 2, one behind, one in front. I had someone make it. If you want to call me, I'm happy to share him with you. It was $2,000. And a funny story is, I didn't know this person really well. He was doing work for me, and I said I'd like a bookcase. Now, this bookcase is movable. It's in 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3. So they moved it from the other apartment. I had this in the living room of a carriage house. So it was fantastic. The fireplace on that side, the couch there, and then this bookcase. So it fit in, it didn't look odd, and I could work from it. So I asked him, okay, what do you need to make it? So he said, I'll take $1,000. I said, okay. Now, weeks go by because this is one of those people, if another job comes up, gonna do it. So weeks go by and I say, gee, I gave this guy $1,000. I don't see any signs of a bookcase. So I said, could you show me something? So he took some pictures, and it looked like the most simple kind of bookcase you could ever purchase, and I really lost sleep over it. I was like, I just threw away $1,000, and honestly, I'm going to have to pay him at the end. So I kept asking him, is it ready? Is it ready? I'm working on it, Miss Claudia. I'm working on it. I said, thank you, thank you. Finally, he says, we're bringing it. He calls me, we're bringing it. So they bring it in 3 pieces. Honestly, I was shocked. I mean, I think it's beautiful. And the 3 lights, which are on a little switch, I can turn them on, turn them off. It's measured to my specifications, so everything fits. And I was just delighted, happy to pay him that extra $1,000. So that was this. I just love this thing. I'm going to take it wherever I go.
This is really the 2nd bedroom in your condo, is that correct?
That's correct. And I think the next thing we'll do is get one of those trundle beds, like couch they look like, and just have a place. They have them so you pull them out, and you can have 2 people stay over.
Okay, I'm just gonna go like this.
Of course, with the pandemic, there's no staying over. Oh, look at these. I'm in my little meditation corner. I do meditate, and it's so cozy. And again, I took the pictures and put them in groupings and wrapped it around the corner. And I love being in here between my bookcase and my sweet little place to sit. Another thing is you can take pictures and frame them. My brother has a beautiful garden, and we can show you those are in the hall. He lives in Seattle. And I took pictures of his garden when we were out there, and they make a great wall covering.
I like that. Tell me about the Christmas tree.
The Christmas tree is my son. He did that in the 3rd grade. So I framed it, and I've always had it on my wall.
Tell us about these pictures.
So these are my brother's garden. He and his wife have an unbelievable garden. Now, this is another thing where you think, how could somebody do this? But he did it piece by piece, section by section, flowers, and over 6 years he created this. And it's been written up in magazines. People have come to visit. He's right on the water. So I stayed there. It was like staying at a fabulous hotel.
That's
just
fabulous.
That view.
And this is right outside of your bathroom. I'm just going to scoot over here a little bit.
Okay.
Sorry about that. And
So
a bathroom is a bathroom is a bathroom.
But this is no ordinary bathroom. It has a special sink. I don't know if you can kind of creep around the corner and see this sink on the top. Now, probably some of you have this. I, in particular, would not do this again. 2 reasons. 3. It just seems too high. I can't explain it, but it bothers me. I'm used to a lower sink. The second thing is, and Marcia actually told me about this, there's something you can put in here, but it splashes up against the mirror whenever it just all splashes. another thing, it creates some sort of white film that you have to scrape to get off. I'm a neatnik. I don't like to come in and see some crusty thing in my water spout. So, no, I probably won't do this again, but Marcia has given me a possibility to maybe stop the splashing, because that's the worst offender. These I just got, it's like a board, but it's coated. It's great for cutting for vanity tops. The vanity top I purchased, but again, I put my own handles, matching the kitchen and the master bath. I don't think you can get in here, but this is all tile. You'll see it in the master because we can't get in there. Very similar. Also, this is a cute little thing that, you might just put. I have toilet paper, water, hand towels, and tissues. And it just gives you some extra shelving.
That's nice. I even like your little window up there.
Yeah, I cleaned that up. Modern toilet.
Yep.
Got the same modern toilet. So this is the shower. Now, consider that some people like a bathtub. I didn't really consider that. I just kind of said selfishly, I don't take baths. I like showers. I want a big shower. So that's what I did. But they also have nice bathtubs that you can do nice work. So I went to the local store and picked out these different squares, and they put the squares down. He created this border and a place to put my shampoos. I got a big shower head. I don't know if you can see that, but it is great. There's great water pressure, at least here in this condo, and I just love taking showers here.
Oh, there it is up there now.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's a big head.
I also like the hook that you put right here.
This is so handy for bathrobes, for my towel. And I just love it.
Nice.
Okay. I don't know if we need to show this. Okay, so there's a couple of things in here I want to point out. In particular, like the fireplace, this is another pride and joy. I made the window seat. In my previous condo, I had them made, and I wasn't really that happy with them. So I said, let me just look this up on the internet, and they gave plywood, batting, fabric, a staple gun, and I put this together, and I just loved the way it came out. It was big and thick. You can get that foam at a local store. And then I had all of these pillows because, of course, I got them on sale, and there were 5, so I put 2 in the living room and 2 in here. And of course, there's the up and down shade, which I love. The other thing I want to point out, I don't know if you can get this, maybe. I purchased 3 different closet spaces, put them together, and then the contractor put the molding on the top so it matches the bookcase and it gives it a finished look. If you want a more modern look, you can just leave that off. That was like $50, not much. And I'd also just like to show you the inside if you can come around. because the other sides are hanging things, but this is sweaters, right? And my TV. Now, I have an old TV because I have Lyme disease and I have an allergy kind of reaction to electromagnetic fields.
Oh, wow.
So I went to some thrift stores. I have another one in the storage in the garage. But this all fit. So if you don't mind having the TV in the bedroom, some people like to keep that free of electronics. But for me, I like to keep the living room free of electronics. So it's just a choice. Also, I got 3 black and white pictures above the headboard. And that gave it a really more modern look. Got one crooked picture here. There we go. And this headboard was nothing. It was $168. Somebody helped me put it together. So it's got the little quilting here. I never had a headboard, oddly enough. I just put pictures over my bed. But I decided to upgrade into adulthood and get a real headboard. And I love it. Yeah.
Who is your protector here?
I don't know, Marcia. David? Maybe David.
I don't know, but you probably feel comfortable with him
Yes.
there at night, keeping you safe.
I love it. I love it. That was not an expensive thing either. Some sale they had in a furniture store, and I picked that up. So I try to keep an eye out because, I'm almost May, I'll be 77. So, but I am a frugal person, as I mentioned. I always try to shop frugally and wisely, but it really helps now to have that kind of a pattern. Because the last chapter of my life, it's a different story. So I really try to stay within my means.
Okay, well, this has been a great tour, Claudia. I really know that we're going to look at some other things of other houses that people have shown you. We may not be able to get into them with cameras, but I know that you have a lot of pictures. So we need to wrap up today.
Okay.
So this is the second in a series that Claudia is going to be doing on kind of do-it-yourself renovation and decorating. So Claudia, thank you again, and we will see you next time when Claudia renos and decorates.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.